Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 45 of Nariyama's Let's Play Minecraft version 1.12, featuring Direwolf 20's mod pack. I'm in Roma Crafts looking at our environmental tech solar array, and if you are looking closely, you'll see it's a little bigger. I have a confession to make. I upgraded this between episodes. So this is now at the tier 4 Palladium solar cell tier, and if we right click on this, with an empty hand, we'll see it's generating 106,000 RF a tick. Everything is full, and the 9 billion RF battery back in the nether is also full. So, woohoo! This puts us pretty solidly in the end game. The end game, in my opinion, is characterized by, you know, solid resource generation, basically never having to go mining anymore for a particular resource. Never having to go and swing a sword at something to kill it, unless it's like a boss that is one of the end game bosses. I don't even consider the Wither an end game boss. That's really more of a mid game boss. And then really having really good tools for building things in large scale, which we have all of those. So, we've got great food, we've got great gear. I don't have armor on, but I certainly, wouldn't have any trouble finding really good armor to make. If I were to make armor at this point, if we weren't playing the Monk mod, I would probably make Terra Steel armor. Although we certainly have the capability to make Draconium armor, or the Draconic Evolution Wyvern tier armor. About the only boss that I can think of that we probably couldn't take right now is the Draconic Evolution dragon. And that's just because he hits ridiculously hard. There are certainly some things that I still want to get to and I want to show. I do want to show some of the later game Astral Sorcery items, because they will do some really cool stuff for us. I also want to show a little bit of the like the Wyvern tier gear and maybe some of the other stuff from Draconic Evolution, and we got a ton of mods that we haven't even explored yet. So I'm thinking we'll probably go to episode 50, and then that'll be the end of season 1. If you have some requests, I've already had somebody mention doing an expert mode pack. I think, and I said this in the response, I think expert mode is kind of misnamed. It's really more forced progression mode. It's expert mode in the fact that you have to be able to do all of the mods. So you have to have a reasonable understanding of all the different mods in order to progress through the mod pack, because basically what it does is it gates each of the mods behind another mod. So in other words, in order to start in order to start thermal expansion, you have to have gotten the final tier material from immersive engineering or something like that, or IC2, one of those things. Like maybe it takes like high voltage cable or something from immersive engineering, right? So basically what that does is it says you have to do immersive engineering before you do thermal expansion, and then all of the other mods are similarly arranged. So like the IC2 would be gated behind Enderium from thermal expansion or something like that, etc., etc., etc. Like they tend to be fairly large mod packs with lots of different mods, but you basically have to go through them one at a time. I'm certainly not opposed to doing that. I just, like I said, it's not so much challenge mode as it is, do this mod, then this mod, then this next mod, etc., etc. If I were to do an expert mode, quote unquote expert mode pack, I might do the one that's a skyblock. I think skyblock packs are really neat, and they provide some interesting challenges above and beyond sort of the normal Minecraft experience. Generally speaking, you don't have to worry about getting attacked by monsters too much, unless you really don't protect your sky block. But it does have some interesting challenges. So the other thing I did is I made a black laser lens and I replaced it here. The reason for that is I want to get more Lonstalite. And if we look at the recipe, it says it gets 0.03% from a clear, but 5.9% from a black laser lens. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Lonstalite is used to make the better upgrades. So things like the speed modifiers, the accuracy modifiers, all that good stuff. This episode, I think we might upgrade this to tier 4, but that's as far as we're going to upgrade it, I think. Um, the other thing I did between episodes that I'd like to show you is let's go to the Astral Sorcery base. We can sleep through the night there. I actually kind of want to upgrade the environmental tech stuff simply to use some of the income that we're getting as far as RF goes. So I set up the way to get items or get the nether stars here. So if we look, I basically put another one of those ender hoppers, same thing we used over at the Botania base, with a storage crate under it and then an import bus here. So basically what will happen is the wizards will get spawned, that'll kill them, this will suck up the nether stars, and we'll get the nether stars in the system. And I can show that in action here in a second. Let's head back. So let's say we wanted to make some wyvern cores, because hey, those are fun. Wyvern. Let's make 20. Oh. Oh, I know why that's saying that. Because once again, I did this. You know what I might do in one of the episodes is show a startup of applied energistics, because this is really bugging me. Having to do this every single episode is really annoying. But anyway, we might save that for the next season. We did refined storage this time. We'll do applied energistics in the next season. There's certainly a bunch of things that I have not shown. This season, which I could probably show really quick. But now, okay, so it had 10 nether stars, but now it has to make 10 more. And so if we look at, well, we're not going to see it, but let's look in the crafting monitor, scheduled 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Crafting them up. So basically what it's waiting on is the spawn of the wither, right? So one of the things we could do is set up a way to maintain a certain number of withers in the system. So instead of using a crafter there, or a certain number of nether stars, instead of using a crafter there, we could basically put a exporter that was active on a redstone signal and have it say, have 50 nether stars. You know, if you have less than 50 nether stars, give it a redstone signal. So that's one of the things we could do. There are a couple other things. So other sorts of endgame kinds of capability that we don't have yet. We don't have wireless crafting. So there is a wireless crafting grid right here, right? And we could make one of those. We could give it a bunch of infinity things. You know, all kinds of good stuff. One of the things that refined storage can do that I haven't shown is it can store fluids. So remember how I did my my food production, my corned beef breakfast, right? This requires a bunch of fluids. It requires milk. Actually, I think that's basically the only fluid it requires. But you know, like there's, I can't remember which one it is. All salt requires water, right? Um, you know, just all kinds of stuff that this requires. So it requires water and milk, basically. We could import milk into the system, and then it could use the milk in crafting recipes. Anywhere where it would be able to use a bucket of milk, it could do that recipe. And then we could similarly import all the other ingredients into the refined storage system, set up like a little drawer system that stored all those ingredients, and we would not have to have the little kitchen that we have in near the Botania area. Honestly, I like cooking for blockheads, so I think the kitchen is pretty neat. Not only that, you know, it does show what sorts of recipes you can make with the ingredients you have on hand, so that's kind of nice. Um, but the fluids in the refined storage system is a nice system. One of the things that would be really good to use it with is the essence here. Um, you know, right now, whoops, we need to. I stopped. See, I stopped producing wither skeletons, and now we're full again. All right, let's do that. That'll start draining out, and we'll pick up all those things and not have as much server lag. Yay! So anyway, let's go get the void ore miner and see what we have. Oh, I also wanted to see how our obsidian was doing. Obsidian. Oh yeah, 207. Nice. So we could make lots more draconium infused obsidian. Oh, that's coming from the mob farm. Anyway, let's grab the void ore miner and upgrade it. So, go. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to pick this sucker up. I know I just retargeted it right. Oops. What size am I doing right now? Oh, it was on 5x5. All right. Let's grab that. There we go. So I am actually recording this the night before it's going to go live. So tomorrow is Wednesday. And if you are watching this, I highly recommend you go, or I should say if you're watching it on the day it comes out, I highly recommend you go and watch the launch of the SpaceX Dragon capsule, making history for the U.S. space program, sending humans on American spacecraft out into space from American soil again. First time since the shuttle. So, good times. So yeah, 1:30 tomorrow. You know, go see a cool moment in history. Anyway, my little plug for the SpaceX launch tomorrow. Let's see what we need here. I think actually it will tell us if we just throw this down on the ground. Whoops, wrong one. Oh, I need my assembler. There we go. Oh, it doesn't tell us. Oh, wow. At least I didn't right-click it, right? That's good. Start building the thing in... Whoops, wrong one. In our base. All right. So... Okay, so here's the Earth. We're going to use you in that. I don't want my white laser lens there. No, I don't want a crystal laser lens there either. Clear laser lens. There we go. Water miner tier 4. Clear laser lens. Tier 3. Go. Okay. Set you down. Left click you. Okay, so 12 null modifier, 56 structure frame tier 4. Well, we already have 56 of those. Need, I think, just 4 more structure panels. Awesome. 4 null modifiers and I think 1 more laser core. Let's see. Yeah. Awesome. That's really easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach it how to make the palladium or the structure frame tier 4s. I think we already did actually, didn't we? Yeah, because I need it for the other one. So 56 of you. Start. And 4, where'd you go? 4 of you. Whoops. Make that 2 of you. There we go. Alright, what else we got here? We need 1 laser core. Which it looks like we already had. Wow. Like, I already had everything. That's awesome. All we need now is 4 null modifiers, and we're actually going to turn those... where's the null modifier thing? There we go. Can I turn those into accuracy modifiers, maybe? Where's the environment modifier? Speed, luck, piezo, accuracy, that one. Needs blocks of diamonds and palladium crystals. We can definitely do this. There we go. All set. Let's grab this. Okay, let's not grab this. Really? And of course, it placed a freaking block because I right-clicked on it. So let's see what it placed. Because we know it placed one. It's really getting old. Alright. Come down here. Yeah, there you are. There's one of you. That looks like that's about it. Hopefully, let's see. 56, 56, 8, 4. 5 of those. Yay, we're good. Pot's right. Let's head to Aromas. Okay, so we're going to want to put our void ore miner up here. There we go. Let's grab our assembler. Where'd that sucker go? Where's the assembler? How did I put it back in the system? No. Am I going blind? I am so confused. Where did I lose my assembler? Like I'm legitimately concerned. Like, where did I put it? this thing go? Alright, folks. Well, I can't find it, so maybe like drop it on the floor in here or something? This seems pretty strange, but I mean, my flux magnet is on. This is so weird. Okay. Well, I can always make another one, right? Easy enough. Okay. Somebody's going to tell me, probably in the comments, what happened to my assembler, but, you know, until they do. We're here. We have one. It's all good. Go. Oops. Assembled true. FE per tick, 14,000. Alright. So using 14,000 RF per tick, targeting black, and what are we getting? Duration 16 ticks, which means we are getting a resource a second, which is pretty cool. Alright. And we could speed that up if we wanted to. So the accuracy modifiers, basically what they do is they make it so that this bonus for using this laser lens is better. And it will get us black stuff faster. That's basically how that works. So let's go sleep through the night. And actually what we can do, I think... yeah, I'm not sure how to measure that. That's okay. Basically, we're getting power. We're using power up. You know, how fast we're using it, that's a good question, but we are using it. All right. So one of the things we can do now, actually, is we can just turn this thing off. Let's grab our personal shrinking device. Whoops. Let's run in here. Let's just, I mean, we could just disconnect this probably. That's the easiest solution. There we go. The other thing I think we can do is we can give it a redstone signal. I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure, but I think we can. Regardless, this will continue to make syngas until this is full, and then we'll stop using wood. We really don't need the advanced generator right now. You know, a more sophisticated setup would basically turn the advanced generator here on, and maybe like a you know, like the liquefied coal setup that we had on if we started getting low. Like if for some reason the power drain was so high that the 100,000 RF a tick generator couldn't keep up with it, then we could start doing stuff. The other thing is we could always go to tier 5 on the generator. We're going to be getting tier 5 crystals here now. So, but regardless, there we go. Let's head out. That's no longer going to consume wood once it fills up the syngas buffer. And we can throw this assembler in here. I'm still baffled by where that thing went. I'm really wondering. Anyway, so a couple other things. I did make, let's see, in sort of preparation for the next couple of episodes, I did make a sort of unfinished tunnel leading this way. I was thinking about making a tower for Thaumcraft. Thaumcraft might be one of the mods we take a look at. It's definitely not a 1 or 2 episode mod spotlight because Thaumcraft is very, very intricate in its most recent form and has a ton of content. So we could take a look at that. But right now we've got the really good food. We've got our good gear. All the yummy stuff from Botania. Yeah, we've got some good stuff going for us. Really great resource generation. I mean, if we go down and look at the amounts in the system, I mean it's pretty hefty. Yeah, you know, thousands of all the different resources. So some good stuff. As far as like directions to go at this point, really, once you reach this point in the game, build the neat stuff you want to build, and explore the content you want to explore. If you want to try out Thaumcraft, great. You've got more amber than you can shake a stick at. If you want to, try out, blood magic, go for it. I mean, we could make beacons on demand for the blood magic altar, right? I think blood magic is in this pack. Yeah. So like the tiers for blood magic, at a certain point you need beacons, and we can get those with nether stars right now, on more or less on demand. If you want to get deeper into draconic evolution, I mean, the draconic armor is just so awesome. You get shields, you get flight, you get all kinds of crazy good stuff. Yeah, I mean, just lots of great content that you can explore. One of the things that we didn't take a look at was the Twilight Forest. Twilight Forest has some great exploration, some interesting bosses. Having creative mode flight in the Twilight Forest does sort of negate some of the puzzles that it has, but whatever. There are some really neat things. You can get castle doors. You can get some really neat weapons. There's a tree in the Twilight Forest that'll speed up time, so the time would clock. Just all kinds of cool stuff. There's trees in the Twilight Forest that'll generate ore resources. This is a really neat mod, and I don't usually play with it because I find there are more efficient ways to get the stuff that I want to get. In all honesty, the ore tree is really great if you can get it early on. Trying to see where it is. Miner's tree. That's what it is. Miner's tree sapling, right? If you can get one of these early on, basically it just generates ores around it. So it's passive ore generation, and it's cheaty ore generation, similar to the void ore miner, in that it doesn't pull ores from the world, it just generates them. And there are mods that are actually a little less cheaty in that they're high mining, like they're really good miners, actually pull ores out of the world. So if you want to get, say, emerald ore, you have to be in a extreme hills or highland biome, because those are the only places where emerald ores spawn. So you know, those are the ones that I consider to sort of be not cheaty uh, resource generation in that they have to pull the ores out of existing ores in the world. Um, now, you know, there's nothing wrong with using the void ore miner. It's just it generates ores from nothing, similar to many other mods. So like Industrial Foregoing's laser, you know, the Ender IO quarry, you know, all those, or not Ender IO, extra utilities quarry. You know, all these, you know, basically generate ores from nothing, and that's fine. Um, but anyway, um, Twilight Forest, great stuff. Um, so I think, what do we say? We're gonna go to probably about episode 50 and call it a season. I, you know, like I said, there's tons more content that we could do. I think I'd rather just sort of restart and choose a different kind of vector through all these mods. In the next season, I don't think I'm going to play with Monk. Um, it actually causes problems. So, like, you break blocks too fast. And it's so fast that it's almost I break more things accidentally than I would like to do. So I think I will disable the monk mod. I think I'm going to add a mod, one of my favorites, which isn't in this pack, which is mechanism. And what we'll do is we'll use mechanism as the sort of core mod, like we used thermal expansion for this one. I also think I won't immediately go into astral sorcery. We'll take a look at some other options, maybe do some Thaumcraft or something like that. Um, you know, the astral sorcery stuff is really nice, and certainly the illumination wand is one of my favorite items in the game as far as convenience goes. But you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Um, the I think in the next season we will certainly get far enough into astral sorcery to do an empowered Lucerna ritual just to turn off mob spawns. But maybe we'll do something that's a little less vertical as far as a base goes. Um, you know, I really like my nether base. This is definitely a first for me, by the way. I have created structures in the nether before, but certainly never to this extent. And I really like how this turned out. So anyway, not a whole lot of progress or content this episode. Just mostly me talking about kind of where we're going and what the plan is. But you know, we did get the next tier Void Ore Miner, and you know, I showed the tier for what you call it, tier 4 solar array. Um, really, environmental tech for power is one of my favorite options because it ramps up so quickly. Once you get past that initial tier of you know, having to get the erodium crystals, and that's just time, right? So you just have to be patient. But once you get past that, it's so convenient and so nice. One of the things I did want to show, so if we go back up here, whoops, went the wrong way. There we go. So you might wonder what blocks these are. These are the Biomes of Plenty gem blocks. So if we look at biome, where are they? So like malachite here, right? Malachite makes you know, this block, and you know, really it's just decoration. That's all it is. The actual gems can be used to make a terrestrial artifact. I know this does something. I'm not sure what it does. I think there's actually another dimension that you can go to with Biomes of Plenty, but I'm not entirely sure what it does. Anyway, one of the things that I really like that is turned off in this pack, if I remember correctly, is, where is it? Is these guys, the Sacred Oaks. They're giant oak trees. And a couple of iterations of Biomes of Plenty back, they were, I want to say they had a 5x5 trunk the corners cut out, but it meant that you could actually carve out a stairway inside the trunk and basically create a base entirely inside these sacred oaks. That was a really neat build a ways back, and it's something we might try in one of the following seasons. What else? Anyway, so yeah, biomes of plenty blocks, and actually, if we go down to the storage, I'll show you. You know, there's all the different types. So you've got like this pink. What is that? Amethyst. Okay, amethyst, topaz. You can turn this topaz into, or not topaz. You can turn this amber, which is the biomes of plenty amber, into Thaumcraft amber if you want to, which is kind of nice. And then, yeah, there's the yellowish. I have no idea what any of these are. Oh, there we go. Peridot, malachite, tanzanite, ruby, sapphire, and of course amethyst and topaz, like we saw before. So yeah, you know, lots of different options there. They do make nice decorative blocks. They're very colorful. I like the tanzanite. So if you were kind of paying attention, the tanzanite is what I used for the chandelier here. That and that blazing quartz. Anyway, cool stuff. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, not a whole lot of progress, but sort of did kind of talk about where we go from here, what phase of the game we're in, and you know, what are the next steps. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.